Good morning, everyone. Welcome to blog number 45. It is a beautiful, beautiful day in Denver, Colorado today. The weather is really getting something fantastic. A little tired today because I was up late working on exoskeletons designs, thinking about exoskeletons last night. So I'm going to go get my journal and I'm going to show you guys what I was working on last night. So this right here is yet another iteration of what I showed you guys on the post-credit scene last night with this right here, with how this will bolt on. This is another one for the lumbar. So the lumbar would be sliding. This would be your transverse plane. This would be going down to your sagittal plane, and the frontal plane would be coming up from right over here and it'd be over here. So this is kind of how it bolts together. So this right here again would be your sagittal plane, and then this right here would be the deep bolt in right there, boom, bolts in. And then this right here, this piece would come over and then secure into this. So this kind of piece would be coming off, and it'd be like a part that would be permanently coming off of, that was attached to the deep exoskeleton, be a superficial part of the exoskeleton, be permanently attached to the deep exoskeleton at the joint of the sagittal plane. And this would come across, this one would come forward, and this one would be attached right there, and then through all three layers, one bolt would go through and bolt it all down. And then this is a little bit more of a sloppier sketch, but this is something I've been thinking about. I was really thinking a lot about how actuation is going to work last night. So this would be like the arm. And here I have two sliding joints. So they slide down the arm. And I think it might make it more stable. It would make it to where instead of using one that had, so like using one big one that had 180 degree of motion, which is about how much motion your arm has, you'd use two that have 90. And then you'd be able to make them a little bit more bulky because of that. So you make them a little bit over 90, and then like this could be a 10-degree sweep in here, so it'd be stronger, or like even 20 degrees, and then make this. You actually want to make this almost as big as you can without reducing motion at all. So, and then I have actuators coming through here. So these would be these well, these are just lines right now, but so more like tendons, but. The idea is that up in here, this part would be actuation, and then this would turn into tendon, and then it come down, and that would give you, well actually this is the tricep right here, so this would actually terminate right here, but then you have two from the bicep coming down, and one would attach up over here, and one would attach up over here, and so they'd both move the arm up, but then they'd also, depending on how you actuate it, turn your forearm like this. So like what I'm kind of imagining is like a channel that will be made between the deep and superficial exoskeletons that the muscles can run down on the outside of your arm. So like on the outside of your arm, have it running down, and then those two bicep muscles, so it'd be three muscles coming down right here, and then the two bicep ones would hit here, and then one would turn and come up to that, like this part of your arm right here. So come over to there, and then that would be, so when the muscle attached to that one would be actuated, it would turn it this way, and then the other one would be attached to that bony part right there, and then that would be, the other one would be attached to that. So the one that was furthest on the outside would be attached to the part next to your thumb, and then the one that was furthest to the inside would be attached to the one on your pinky. And then by turning, depending which one, if you turn either of them on, it's going to pull your arm up, but you could stop that motion with the tricep. Tricep is just going to be at the back, so it'll be three muscles going down the inside of your arm, and then depending on which one you turn would turn your hand. And then they'd be using a similar method with like the pec and the trap, or the pec and the lats. The pec would come in and it'd be coming from somewhere in here. In my drawing I had it running down the stomach to give it extra length, but that may not be necessary. But comes across, would come in over here, and then would go down, and then would attach over on the outside of your elbow over there, and then when it turned on, it would try to internally rotate your arm, and then the lat would try to externally rotate your arm, most likely by attaching somewhere down by the inside of your elbow, so like that. And then in real life, your lats and your traps both internally rotate your arm, and then you have your rotator cuff externally rotates your arm. So I could do that too. I could put a single rotator cuff in there too to make it more like biology. I'm not sure about that because your lat actually runs up underneath your arm and attaches into like your armpit kind of. but I can't do that on me because that exo tendon would cut me in half because there won't actually be any exoskeleton down there. So it has to come in kind of over the top of your shoulder. So I'm thinking more about actuation right now, because if I build this suit and then don't have a way to actuate it, all I've made is a fancy suit of metal, but that I can't move. So I have to be thinking about how to actuate it too. So I know adding a second sliding joint, you could probably apply the same principles with just a single joint. It just seems like it might make it a little stronger to have two. It'll make it cooler looking too. It'll make it kind of move more like water around me than one single spot. I think it might make it stronger. I'm not sure. I don't know. It was a thought I was having last night. One thing I want to do, and one thing I added to my list, is I want to make, in my spreadsheet, I want to make a list of all the exomuscles, their origins and insertions, for all of them. And that way I know where to put them as I'm building the draft 2 of the Mark 1. Designing the draft 2 of the Mark 1. I may actually go do that right now. Alright, I went for a run today, and now I've been working on the origins and insertions. Let me show you what I got. So here's my spreadsheet titled Draft 2 Origins and Insertions. So as you can see, I have all of them for the biceps brachii and the triceps, both heads of the bicep brachii, and then that's kind of where they're going to go. And then I've started kind of up on the pectoralis, on the insertions there. But there's a lot left to go, so I got a lot of stuff to figure out. I've been thinking maybe that doing this thing, that making this, is potentially unnecessary, because I've already done this and this right here, and so I already know, I've already thought through where all of the origins and insertions are going to be. The only thing I really kind of changed was on the arm, after rethinking some of that. So I wonder if I'm wasting my time or not, or if this is still a good exercise. It's probably still a good idea to do. Probably. I finished the arm. Got that all done. Working on the trunk, mostly there yet. Haven't started on the legs at all yet. This is my original drawing. And one thing I didn't really consider on this is, you see here, this line up the middle was designed to show that the thing was going to spring open like a face hugger, and then you're going to get in, then it was going to close, and there's going to be hinges down the side. And what that was going to do was allow these muscles that come across from here to here, from here to here, here to here, here to here, some more down there. What that was going to do was allow those to stay attached, because if this comes and gets put on with the stand, then these would have to be taken and put in as well. So the stand would not only have to hold this, it would have to hold and insert and attach the muscles in there, if it's bolted on, and assuming that we're going to have muscles on the thing, because there's no way to get from here to here and still get into it without cutting it right down the middle, where there's some symmetry. Hey everyone, a little bit later in the day. I've been pretty much thinking all day. I went on a walk, thought about a few things. What concerns me now with what I was showing you earlier is just how I'm going to get this on. So I could try to go back to a face hugger thing. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. That's why I haven't done anything. I've just been thinking. I'm not sure the face hugger way is the best way to go. The bolt-on way, in some ways it's more complicated, because you got to, with the face hugger thing, you wouldn't need a stand. It would literally just hinge closed. So in some ways it's easier, but it makes the suit a little bit more complicated. It makes putting it on easier, it makes the suit more complicated. I really don't know how I'm going to get around the arms. So if we didn't do that and it came and it bolted on, for example, this would be done with every other muscle, so like the sternocleidomastoid, the pectoralis minor, and the pectoralis major, would all come and then, so like you put it on and you take the tendon and then you place it where it needed to go. One thing I just thought about though is that's going to be very difficult with some of them are going to have to be wrapped around, like the pec goes down the arm in order to cause internal and external rotation too. So doing that could be hard. Might not be that hard. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't really figured this out yet. So, I was thinking, when the front stand comes on and puts it in, it's being bolted in, you could also place in the actuators like that. So, like I said, even though I'm not necessarily actuating this one, I'm going to build it like I could actuate it in the future. So that's what that's what I'm considering, you know, how to do things. So I don't know what the answer is. I'm gonna do some more thinking on it tomorrow. I'm about halfway done with the origins and insertions spreadsheet. I'm like a little over 50% on that. I still have to do the build spreadsheet. Let's see, I have to do some stand sketches too, because I really got to figure out how I'm gonna put this thing on better. So I'm just kind of thinking right now and trying to figure it out. And for whatever reason, I can't figure it out today. I'm really not sure how to proceed right now. So I'm just thinking, and then hopefully tomorrow, hopefully after a good night's rest and wake up in the morning, think it through and have a little bit better idea of how things are going to proceed forward. That way I can start really getting the build sheet, spreadsheet builds, because that's what I really need to do the draft 2, and that'll make that go a lot more efficiently. So we're getting there. We're getting close. I still don't have a date set for having draft 2 done, but I am working on it. I'm in the theory right now and trying to figure out the best way to proceed. So hopefully tomorrow we'll have more of that figured out. We'll see how things are going with that. All right. Love you guys. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Peace.